Thank you very much for inviting me to talk to you today about FRA. Some of the things we do, and hopefully you'll understand better why we do them. In order to describe to you some of our programs and the things we have done in the past, you really need to understand the environment in which we work. In order to do that, I want to tell you a story. I'd like you to come with me to a maternity room in one of the local hospitals. Maybe 10 years ago. And in that room, as you look in, there's a mother sitting in the bed with her child, just gave birth to her. There's the father standing next to her, and grandma is sitting in a chair. Very happy scene, especially because this particular woman had had 5 miscarriages before carrying this baby to term. So they're all quite thrilled. Into this bucolic type of a scene comes the nurse, one of the nurses, from the delivery room, who says to her, "Mother, I have to take baby. Doctor forgot to do a test, but it's no big deal. We'll be right back." So nurse takes baby, mother looks at father looks at grandma, and everybody goes, "What's this all about?" They were very, very happy 2 minutes ago. Now there's a little bit of uncertainty. Well, 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes, 20. Finally, mother says to father, "Get out there and find out what happened to our baby. No one's come back in." He goes out, comes back, he says, "I can't find anybody. There's nobody around." About 5 minutes after that, in comes the entourage. The doctor who delivered the baby, the nurse who took the baby, another nurse, and an aide. And the doctor says to the mother, "I'm very sorry to tell you this, mother, but your child has Down syndrome." And the room goes from tremendous warmth to ice cold. What does this mean? How did this happen? What are you talking about? What's going to happen to our baby? What's going to happen to us? The atmosphere was here, and it's now down on the ground. Father says, "I'll be back. I'm going home. I'm going to get on the computer and see what I can find out." And he leaves, comes back 24 hours later. His eyeballs are down to here. Because if you put Down syndrome into Google, you get 6.35 million hits. He knows less now than he knew before. The fear of the unknown. The fear of what's going to happen in the future. Devastating to this family. A few days later, they're introduced to FRA. And through some discussions about FRA, their world stops spinning apart. Somebody knows something about this. Somebody can help us. And thus starts their journey with FRA. What makes FRA different than most agencies or groups that deal with special needs people is what I would like to describe to you. And it has a lot to do with the scene that I just described. For starters, unlike most organizations that deal with people with disabilities, FRA takes almost all disabilities. Literally whatever comes through the door. We have over 40 therapists, most of which have advanced degrees in many, many different disciplines. Of course, if something comes through the door, someone comes through the door that we don't have the skill set for, we'll find them someplace else to go. But most organizations, they either do Down syndrome or autism or CP or sight or sound, or they specialize. We don't. The second thing that you need to understand about FRA, and probably the most important thing about FRA, is that we have believed, believe now, and will believe in the future that the family unit is what makes this work. And by family unit, I mean not just the mother and the father and the child. I'm talking about the siblings, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the nieces, the nephews, the neighbors, the friends, anybody who is in contact with this family that now has this special needs person. To do that, we start when they are very young, if they come to us that fast. We call it early intervention, and it runs basically from birth to about 3 years old. And we provide whatever therapies that person needs. As that person gets older, we have a number of different events that we use in order to help them. Some of them seem like just recreation, but even if they are recreation, they're geared to help them physically and mentally. As they continue to age and get out of high school, we run classes on living skills, teaching them things that the schools don't teach them. Money, how to read labels, how to cook, how to make beds, how to hopefully become independent. And throughout all of this, we are running classes and meetings with parents, sometimes the moms, sometimes the dads, sometimes together, the grandparents, the siblings. We have a very, very active sibling program. Many of our events during the course of the year are designed for the family unit. Bring your neighbors, bring the rest of the family, bring your friends out so that everyone is together. An interesting statistic is the divorce rate among families that give birth to a child with special needs. In the United States, I understand it's somewhere upwards of 65%. To the best of our ability, by going back and looking at our records over the 32 years that we've been in business, our rate is about 18%. So something works with dealing with the whole family unit. In amongst all of this is our computer center, which is the third thing that I really want you to try to remember about FRA. To my knowledge, it's the only publicly accessible computer center in the state of New Jersey where you can come with a person that has special needs, meet with one of our assistive technology technicians, who also, by the way, are special education teachers, and discuss what the issues are for that person. We then put that person in front of a computer. We have about 28 computer systems in our data center, and take a number of programs that the technologist thinks might help that individual. We have a library of over 1,200 of those programs. And we will sit with that person for a half an hour or 45 minutes to see if something works for them. And if it does, we have a lending library where that person can take that piece of software, take it home with them, use it in their own environment for a couple of weeks. When they bring it back, if it had worked well, then we'll tell you where to go buy it. We don't sell it, we don't make any money on it, but we'll give you 2 or 3 places that actually sell it. We are considered by Microsoft to be a Mac center. There are only 22 or 25 of these centers in the United States. Basically what it means is that Microsoft certifies us to teach the accessibility programs that they have built into their software. We're very proud of that, obviously. In conjunction with this computer center, we have a computer recovery program. We get computers that businesses are upgrading from. Individuals are moving and they're not taking the computer with them. And we have a field of volunteers that refurbishes these computers. And we give them to families that need computer technology, that computer technology can help, but they can't afford to buy the equipment and the software. Part and parcel of that is what's known in the Microsoft world as a CR Mac Center. Computer recovery, obviously, Mac Center. There's only 5 or 6 of us in the entire country that Microsoft certifies as a CR Mac Center. And what that basically means is, when we give that computer system to that family, it comes already loaded with the Microsoft software, the operating system, and the accessibility software that goes with it. at no cost to that person. Again, we're very proud of that. And as I said, I believe we are the only one in the state of New Jersey that you can go to do that. That's just a quick glimpse at what makes us so different. But I want to leave you with something else. And this is right from my heart. I am not a computer or a computer technician, nor am I a therapist. I'm a businessman. I spent 44 years in telecommunications. I traveled all over North America. But in the last 10 years, I've had this journey into this world of what I call a forgotten population. Forgotten by the governments that say they're going to help these people. Forgotten by the school systems that purport to help them, but really stick them in a room down at an end of a hall someplace. Forgotten by people who don't normally come in contact with special needs people. Sometimes, dreadfully so, even forgotten by their own families. You know, special needs people sometimes don't look like us. They look different. Sometimes they can't process information as fast as we can, so people say they're slow. Sometimes they physically can't do the things you and I can do. They can't go up and down stairs as fast as you and I can. They can't walk across a parking lot as fast as you and I can. All of that makes them different. But I will tell you what I've learned in this journey that I've had. In here, where it counts, they're the same as you and me. They get happy with the same things that make you happy. They are proud of themselves for the same things that you're proud of yourself for and your children for. They get pleased with the same things that make you smile and me smile. And they get hurt at the same things that hurt you and me. When someone talks disparagingly to them or behind their back makes snide remarks. When they're not the ones that get invited to the party or to the ball game or to the picnic. When they're ignored or they're stared at because they look a little different. It hurts in here, just like it would hurt you. I would ask you the next time you see somebody doing something like that to one of these people, just walk up to them and say, "Stop it. There's no reason for it." And maybe, just maybe, if we all did that, in 50 years or 75 years, a lot of the things we do at FRA, family-oriented, wouldn't even be necessary. Because this forgotten population wouldn't be forgotten. They'd be part of the population, just like everybody else. That's not going to happen in the next couple of years, no matter what we do. We, of course, should try. But in the next couple of years, we're still going to have this forgotten population, and FRA is still going to be very much in the forefront of working with these people. But I'm going to ask you to do something now, because we need a new home. We have completely outgrown our space in our headquarters. We rent space in different parts of the county just to keep our programs going. So we need to find a new home. And we are embarking on a capital campaign to raise the money to do that. Now, I'm not asking you to write a check, much as that would be very nice, because cash is always king for charities, but I'm not asking you for that. What I am asking you to do is to help us. You may know people in businesses who would be willing to help us financially. You may know people in foundations that like to contribute to building funds. You could come to some of our events that we're going to have, which will be advertised, to raise money for our new building, whatever that is. And we need volunteers to help us with those events. So anything that you can do along those lines would be wonderful, and we would be most appreciative. Thank you, and I'd be glad to take any questions that you have.